All right, today we're diving into one of nature's greatest and, frankly, weirdest con artists, the Titan Arum. This is a plant that has absolutely mastered the art of illusion on an epic scale. And its biggest trick? Pretending to be dead.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth does a plant go to such extraordinary lengths to look, feel, and most famously, smell like a rotting corpse? How does it pull this off? But hang on. Before we even get to that infamous smell, we need to clear up a massive misconception. Because what you're looking at right there, that isn't one giant flower. Nope. It's something way more complex, which honestly just makes the whole deception even more brilliant. To really get the trick, you gotta get to know the trickster. Its scientific name is Amorphophallus titanium, which, well, to put it delicately, translates from Greek to misshapen giant phallus. Yeah. And that leads to this fantastic bit of trivia. You see, when the legendary Sir David Attenborough was featuring this plant back in the 90s, he decided that its scientific name was maybe a little too on the nose for primetime television. So he came up with a much classier name, Titan Arum. And it just stuck. Now, this also helps clear something up that trips a lot of people up. The Titan Arum is not the same thing as Rafflesia arnoldi, which is another plant people call the corpse flower. The difference is actually pretty simple. The Titan Arum holds the record for the world's largest unbranched inflorescence. That's just a fancy way of saying a giant stalk covered in hundreds of tiny, tiny flowers. Rafflesia, on the other hand, is the world's biggest single flower. So two totally different but equally amazing botanical champs. So, how does this plant actually build its grand illusion? Well, it all starts with sheer, unbelievable scale. And when I say scale, I mean it's massive. Just this year, a bloom in a Belgian botanic garden hit a jaw-dropping 3.21 meters. That's over 10.5 feet tall. That's a potential new world record, and it would absolutely tower over you. This chart really puts it all into perspective. You've got other giants out there, sure. The Tulipo palm has a taller branched flower cluster, and Rafflesia is the widest single flower. But the Titan Arum, it's in a league of its own as the tallest, unbranched tower of flowers on the planet. You see, this whole thing is engineered to deceive. It's basically a three-pronged attack on the senses. First, you've got the look. That giant leaf-like structure, the spathe, opens up to show this deep, fleshy maroon color. Second, the feel. The plant actually heats itself up to about human body temperature. And finally, the smell. A chemical masterpiece of pure decay. Okay, let's dive into the most powerful parts of this whole illusion. The incredible chemistry behind that heat, and of course that unforgettable stench. So that heat comes from a super rare biological process called thermogenesis. You can almost think of it like the plant has its own internal furnace. It uses a special metabolic pathway to just burn through the massive amounts of energy it's stored underground, releasing it all as pure heat. This warms up the air and helps spread its perfume. And what a perfume it is. This is basically the recipe for its carrion cologne, and it is a who's who of just awful smells. The star of the show is dimethyl trisulfide. That's your classic rotting meat smell. But it's layered. You've got isovaleric acid for a little hint of sweaty gym socks, trimethylamine for a touch of rotting fish, and indole for, well, a fecal note. It's a disgusting but brilliantly crafted masterpiece. And all of this, the size, the color, the heat, the smell, it's all for one purpose: tricking pollinators. Think about it. Instead of making sugary nectar like other flowers, this plant gambles everything on this one epic deception. Carrion beetles and flesh flies smell this thing from far away and think they've hit a jackpot, the perfect dead animal to lay their eggs on. They fly in, crawl around, and accidentally pollinate the real flowers hidden inside. And here's the really cold-hearted part of the trick. There's no reward for them. No nectar, no food for their babies. It's a complete con. But here's where the story takes a really wild, unexpected turn. This incredible chemical mimicry has had consequences that reach far, far beyond the rainforests of Sumatra. The answer, amazingly, is its smell. The chemical signature that the Titan Arum produces is so shockingly similar to a decomposing body that it's actually become a valuable tool for forensic scientists. No, I'm serious. This is incredible. Because the plant produces such a reliable and predictable scent of death, researchers use it to train cadaver dogs and to calibrate super-sensitive equipment, these electronic noses. The data they gather helps them build better tools for finding victims in disaster zones.
This botanical wonder is literally helping to solve crimes and save lives. But there's a flip side to this story. While we're all marveling at these plants and our botanical gardens, their story out in the wild is taking a really dark turn. This master of disguise is now facing the very real threat of just disappearing. It's now officially classified as endangered. And this chart, well, it shows you the brutal reality. It's estimated that in just 150 years, half of the entire wild population has vanished. What's left are these small, scattered groups just trying to hang on. And the reasons why are tragically familiar. Its native home in the rainforest of Sumatra is being bulldozed for palm oil and coffee plantations. But on top of that, there's this really strange cultural threat. Some local farmers see the mottled snakeskin pattern on the plant's stem when it's just a leaf, and they destroy it because they think it's a dangerous snake. And so we're left with this deep, profound irony. We've gotten really good at growing this plant in our botanical gardens, creating this crucial safety net. But as we celebrate these incredible blooms under glass, we have to ask ourselves, what are we losing? We're saving the illusion, but we risk losing the reality, the entire ecological web it belongs to, the very insects it evolved to trick, the wildness of it all. It leads to one final question. What good is a perfect deception when there's no one left in the wild to fool?